Hello everyone, I'm Lucy. Today we are going to read a story for starters called Mrs. Day's Garden. Mr. Gray is a farmer. There are cows, sheep, goats, ducks and chickens on his farm. There's a dog too. Mrs. Day lives next to Mr. Gray's farm. There are potatoes, onions, beans, peas, and 2 pear trees in her garden. Mr. Gray is going to the town now. He's going in his truck. Mrs. Day is going to the shops. She's going on the bus. Oh dear! Mr. Gray's farm gate is open. Oh dear! Mrs. Day's garden gate is open too. Look at the cows and sheep. Look at the goats and ducks and chickens. They're running and jumping in Mrs. Day's garden. They're eating her potatoes and onions and peas. They're eating her beans and the pears in her trees. They're wearing her hats and her t-shirts and shirts. They're wearing her dresses and sweaters and skirts. But look, here's Mrs. Day. She's coming home from the shops. Mr. Gray is coming home too. "I'm very angry," says Mrs. Day. "Look at my clothes and look at my trees."
"I'm very sorry," says Mr. Day. "Would you like to have dinner with me?"
Poor Mrs. Day. What a mess the animals made in her garden. Which of Mr. Gray's animals can you see? There are cows, sheep, goats, and a chicken. There are 2 cows. 1, 2. How many sheep can you see? 1, 2. There are 2 sheep. How many goats are there? 1, 2. There are 2 goats. Here are some vegetables from Mrs. Day's garden. What vegetables can you see? There are potatoes, beans, and onions. How many onions has Mrs. Day got? 1, 2. 2 onions. How many beans are there? 1, 2, 3. There are 3 beans. How many potatoes has Mrs. Day got? 1, 2, 3, 4. She has got 4 potatoes. Well done, everyone. Now let's look at some sentences and fill in the gaps using these words: clothes, animals, bus, farm, and truck. Mr. Gray has got lots of animals on his farm. Number 2. Mr. Gray drives his to town. Does Mr. Gray drive his animals to town? No. Does Mr. Gray drive the bus to town? No. Mr. Gray drives his truck to town. Number 3. Mrs. Day goes to town on a what? Does Mrs. Day go to town on Mr. Gray's truck? No. Does Mrs. Day go to town on her clothes? No. Mrs. Day goes to town on a bus. Number 4. The what eat Mrs. Day's potatoes, onions and peas? Do her clothes eat her potatoes, onions and peas? No. The animals eat her potatoes, onions and peas. And number 5. They wear Mrs. Day's. What do the animals wear? They wear Mrs. Day's clothes. Look at these animals wearing Mrs. Day's clothes. The brown cow is wearing a dirty blue skirt. What is the duck wearing? The duck is wearing a dirty green t-shirt. What is the black sheep wearing? The black sheep is wearing a dirty white shirt. What is the chicken wearing? The chicken is wearing a dirty red and yellow hat. What is the grey goat wearing? The grey goat is wearing a dirty pink sweater. What is the black and white cow wearing? The black and white cow is wearing a dirty yellow dress. Well done. Good job, everyone. That was the story of Mrs. Day's garden. Goodbye.